You don't love me. You never did, you liar! You liar! Get out of my life!
I just wanted probably closure, and I never really got that closure. It was always like an awkward ending.
In the landscape of modern reality television, few figures have fascinated, baffled, and polarized audiences quite like the Silva twins, Darcey and Stacey. For nearly a decade, millions of viewers have tracked what appears to be a chaotic, hyper-glamorous pursuit of love and perfection under the harsh glow of the TLC cameras. But if you peel back the layers of designer logos, bleached extensions, and reality TV editing, a far more intricate psychological portrait begins to emerge. Darcey and Stacey do not simply share a genetic bond. They exist in an intense, lifelong codependency where every personal achievement, every romantic milestone, and even every physical transformation must be symmetrically matched. They grew up together, entered the entertainment industry together, got married to their first husbands around the same time. In a twist that sounds almost too scripted to be true, finalized their divorces on the exact same day. But what happens when sisterly love becomes an underground war of passive aggression? What happens when your closest confidante is also your fiercest competitor? Today, we are looking past the television screens and deep into the real-world timeline. From the dark corners of their unedited history to the actual chronological events of their relationships, this is the complete, unfiltered breakdown of the House of Silva. To truly understand the fractures in the twins' lives, we have to look closely at Darcey's foundational pattern, the frantic, almost desperate urgency to secure a romantic partner. While the television show frames her as a tragic romantic warrior constantly searching for the one, the actual timeline suggests she operates as an overlap queen. When Darcey made her television debut with Jesse Meester, she claimed she was entering a completely fresh international romance. Jesse, a 24-year-old fitness model and personal trainer from Amsterdam, was nearly 2 decades her junior. Despite never having shared physical space, Darcey flew across the Atlantic for a 6-week trial run, instantly treating Jesse as a permanent staple of her family structure. Before a solid foundation was even built, she was introducing her daughters Aniko and Aspen to Jesse, explicitly telling them he was the permanent fixture they needed.
I think, Jesse would make an amazing stepdad to my daughters. I think it would be the most beautiful thing ever.
But behind the scenes, a different narrative was unfolding during subsequent tell-alls. Jesse openly accused Darcey of talking to other men online throughout their entire relationship, and the chronology supports this. When Darcey transitioned directly from Jesse to Tom Brooks, she constantly defended the move by stating she and Tom had been friends online for 4 years. This reveals a distinct strategy. Darcey doesn't just look for love, she keeps a revolving door of backup options waiting on Instagram and international dating apps. The moment one relationship begins to fracture, she pulls the lever on the next contestant, hoping to maintain her social standing alongside her sister.
I found out through social media that she got arrested the other day for hitting her sister. Darcey tries to lie about it. It just like shows again like how I'm not want to be a part of that. If you don't get therapy for your alcoholism,
what alcoholism?
How long do you want to hide problems? How long?
Yeah, you need to go. You don't love me. You never did, you liar! You liar! Get out of my life!
The relationship with Jesse quickly turned toxic, culminating in screaming matches over how to properly cut a steak and ending in that hostile New York rental car. But the loop didn't stop. It reset immediately with Tom. If Jesse Meester was a storm of youthful arrogance, Tom Brooks was a cold masterclass in emotional withholding and gaslighting. Darcey flew to London at 44 years old, expecting a fairy tale proposal. What she received instead was a slow, agonizing erosion of her self-worth. The apex of this psychological warfare took place during an awkward, highly tense trip to Albania. Tom had planned a romantic getaway to Gran Canaria, but Darcey insisted they pivot to Albania so she could introduce him to Stacey and Stacey's fiancé, Florian. This single decision became a weapon Tom used against her for the rest of their tenure.
I think maybe if we'd just gone to Gran Canaria, we would have been caught up in the moment. Having gone to Albania and it not been like that, I actually saw what Darcey's all about.
I'm glad we came here because it's actually shown me 2 sides of you. There's one woman on this side that I love and adore and I'd love to spend the rest of my life with. And there's another one on this side that, you could be my friend.
Tom looked a visibly exhausted Darcey in the eyes and executed a classic gaslight maneuver. He told her that if they had stuck to his original plan and gone to Gran Canaria, he probably would have proposed to her. He then followed it up by stating he loved one side of her, but viewed her other side as just a friend. It was a calculated move that shifted the entire blame of the relationship's failure onto Darcey's shoulders, leaving her to mourn a proposal that, in reality, Tom likely never intended to give. Behind-the-scenes digital footprints later uncovered that while Darcey was weeping on television over Tom, she was allegedly already talking to and sending money to another British man named Michael, proving yet again that the illusion of her total devotion was vastly different from her real-time actions. Tom, infuriated by his edit as the pure villain of the show, spent months on an Instagram tirade trying to expose Darcey's behind-the-scenes text messages, but TLC remained intensely loyal to Darcey, consistently giving her the sympathetic victim of love edit. While Darcey's romantic life was a public train wreck, Stacey was quietly building a life with Florian, a younger model from Albania. But do not mistake Stacey's stability for pure benevolence. The dynamic between these two sisters functions like a seesaw. When one is up, the other must pull them down to maintain balance. For years, Stacey acted as Florian's primary financial support, effectively becoming his sugar mama while he waited for legal status. Yet, the moment Darcey found a new partner in Georgi Rusev, a Bulgarian fitness model and masseur, Stacey immediately shifted into the role of chief interrogator. Under the guise of sisterly protection, Stacey and their father, Mike Silva, ruthlessly picked Georgi apart. They grilled him over his lack of a stable income and his recent separation from his ex-wife. Then came the moment that exposed the absolute absurdity of the situation. During a routine interrogation, it was discovered that Georgi didn't trust banks and kept his entire physical cash savings hidden inside a sock. The family treated it like a federal crime, mocking him relentlessly. But the hypocrisy was glaring. Stacey was projecting the exact financial insecurities of her own relationship with Florian onto Darcey and Georgi. The twin dynamic shifted from mutual support to an unspoken, passive-aggressive Cold War. This came to an absolute boiling point in April of 2020. As the global pandemic began to shut down the world, Stacey and Florian legally wed in secret. Because local government offices were closing, they had to frantically drive to Middletown, Connecticut to secure and sign their marriage license right before the stroke of midnight.
I just hope we can do this quickly and quietly, because we only have like 10 minutes before it's midnight.
They intentionally hid this monumental milestone from Darcey, admitting on camera that they did so strictly to avoid her inevitable backlash. And they were right to be afraid, because when Darcey found out, her retaliation was swift, public, and devastating.
You're not the only one married. What do you mean?
How this work?
So you did it! It's official!
So you married during the quarantine?
Yeah.
The moment the secret wedding was out in the open, Darcey did not offer warm congratulations. Instead, she walked into the room armed with digital weaponry. She confronted Stacey with unreleased video clips of Florian in a motel room with another woman, explicitly highlighting audio of him making mock sex noises while the woman posed in blue lingerie. It was a masterclass in sisterly sabotage. Darcey effectively neutralized Stacey's wedding joy by dropping an atomic bomb of infidelity right on top of her marriage license. Yet this is where the timeline takes a bizarre turn into total selective amnesia.
That you guys are married now, it's not really what I thought that you should see, and I didn't know what to do, but she's reached out to me. Wait, what? Let me see. What the? What the? She's faking like sex noises, like they're trying to mock sex, Stacey. Okay?
Despite explicit video evidence tracking Florian's visual indiscretions, Stacey chose to forgive him, burying the trauma beneath a mountain of wedding planning. Years later, when they threw a massive, formal wedding celebration to make up for their rushed pandemic ceremony, the ghosts of the past walked right back through the door. Georgi Rusev, who had been pushed to his limit by the family's constant meddling, dropped a brand new bombshell. He revealed that he had personally seen Florian leaving a bar late at night with two blonde women, and that one of those women later explicitly told Georgi to thank Florian for taking her home. Once again, the family erupted into chaos, but instead of addressing the systemic cheating allegations, the anger was turned back onto Georgi for ruining the event. Stacey and Florian doubled down, attended therapy, and ultimately pushed forward to celebrate their 10-year mark with an elaborate vow renewal. Meanwhile, Darcey's relationship with Georgi was heading toward its ultimate tragic expiration date. During a trip to Bulgaria to visit Georgi's family, the deep-rooted cultural divide became impossible to ignore. In a heartbreaking moment framed by a dramatic red veil, Darcey realized she could never give him what his culture demanded, leading her to emotionally offer to sign divorce papers and walk away.
I don't think that's gonna work, Georgie. Let me move on. Let me have my peace. Stop.
Us to both move on, sign the divorce papers, and call it a day. I don't know.
But the Silva story didn't end with those heartbreaks. In a stunning turn of events, Darcey and Georgi ultimately reconciled outside the view of their main spin-off show, officially tying the knot on November 11, 2023. Yet even with rings on their fingers, the core patterns remain completely unchanged. Viewers have pointed out that Georgi, who once abandoned his massage job to live off the relationship, seems suspiciously focused on securing his permanent status, leading Darcey to eventually drop lines on camera accusing him of only needing her for a green card. When you step back and look at the macro timeline of Darcey and Stacey, the conclusion is glaring and undeniable. They are obsessed with modifying the surface to avoid fixing the foundation. Over the course of their television run, the twins have undergone an almost unrecognizable physical transformation. They have traveled to plastic surgery hotspots like Turkey, undergoing aggressive lifts, lip fillers, veneers, and constant Botox to achieve what they call a snatched look. The tragedy of this evolution is clear. In their desperate bid to erase any sign of aging, they have completely erased their unique natural features. The heavy fillers have done the exact opposite of what they intended, aging them prematurely and unnaturally. The excessive surgeries, the matching designer outfits, the giant engagement rings, and the theatrical vow renewals are all part of the same illusion. They are expensive, shiny distractions designed to mask a harsh reality, severe low self-esteem, unaddressed emotional issues, and a toxic sisterly rivalry that refuses to die. Darcey and Stacey can change their faces, their hair, their partners, and their zip codes, but until they turn down the cameras, look into a real mirror, and heal the deep wounds of their codependency, they will remain beautifully, tragically stuck in the exact same loop, chasing a fantasy that doesn't exist and sabotaging the reality right in front of them.